In this video, I am going to show you how to use conditional display constraints to show or hide questions depending on the content of the survey. To illustrate what I'm trying to do, I'm going to preview the survey that I'm going to use as an example. And I can see that in this survey, I have a section called Your Health that has 4 questions. Number 3, which is asking me if I smoke, and number 4, 5, and 6, which are questions relating to my smoking. If I say that I do not smoke, if I say no, then there is no point asking me questions 4, 5, and 6, and those should be hidden. I would also like to hide question number 6 if the user did not select other. So if the user in question number 5 selected peer pressure, then there is no point in asking the user what is the other reason to start smoking. But if the user selected other, I would like to ask him that particular question. So I would like to hide question number 6 if question number 5 is not other. I would also like to add conditional displaying constraints to my education section, where I would like to hide questions number 9, 10, and 11 depending on the answer that the user selected in question number 7. So if the user does not have a university degree, I do not want to ask him question 9, 10, and 11. If the user completed only a university degree, I would like to ask him only question number 9, but not question number 10 and number 11, and so on. So I'm going to do this by editing my survey and selecting the Your Health section, where I am going to add my first conditional display constraint. Conditional display constraints are very similar to the standard constraints and are managed by clicking on the I button on the question that I would like to add the condition. In this case, I'm going to say advanced conditional displaying, and I'm going to add an expression. QSmoke is a Boolean variable. That basically means that it can have a true or false value. What I'm going to do is to enter into the conditional displaying expression QSmoke is equal to false, and if this is the case, then I want to hide questions QHSmoke, QReasonSmoke, and QReasonSmoke others. And I'm going to save my conditional displaying rule. And if I preview my survey and I go to the Your Health section, I will see that questions 4, 5, and 6 are currently disabled. That basically means that people cannot enter them, and if I say no, then those questions will remain disabled. But if I say yes on question number 3, then questions 4, 5, and 6 are enabled. However, I do not want question 6 to be enabled if question 5 was not selected as other. To fix this, I'm going to edit my survey again, and I am going to modify this conditional display constraint by clicking on the edit button, and I'm going to remove this question QReasonSmoke other from the conditional display, so that now this question QSmoke only controls the visibility of questions 2 and 3 in this list. So I'm going to add a conditional display constraint to question 3, and I'm going to add here an advanced conditional display, and in the expression I'm going to type the following: This expression is special and requires a little explanation. Q reasons smoke is a list, and this list question, I'm going to ask it if what is selected is the question number 3. In crystal surveys, questions are numbered from 0 on, so 0, 1, 2, 3. That basically means that I'm asking the system if the Q reason smoke question has selected the 4th option, which is other, and Q smoke equals true, which basically means that if the user smokes and the reason for smoking is other, then I want this question, Q reason smoke other, to be shown. I'm going to save this constraint and I'm going to preview my survey. And in your health section, I'm going to see that I have question 3 and I'm going to answer yes. And I'm going to go to question number 5 and I'm going to select other. And if I test the validity of the survey, question 6 has been enabled. And I can enter the other reason to start smoking. I am now going to add the remaining conditional display constraints to the Your Education section, editing the survey again, going to the Your Education section, and here you will notice that I have a question that is Q highest EDU that has my choices for the education, for the level of education that the user has. This question has 6 options that go from no education all the way to a PhD. If I count them, I have 6 options, and the university degree is the option number 4. The master's degree is option number 5, and the PhD is option number 6. So I'm going to add a conditional display constraint to this particular question by going to the eye icon and adding an advanced conditional expression. I'm going to type into the expression Q highest EDU dot is selected 5. This basically is testing whether in the Q highest EDU question the user has answered the 6th question. Remember that crystal survey numbers questions from 0, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that will be the 6th question, or whether the user has a PhD. In that particular case, I'm going to show the question Q years PhD, and I'm going to save my constraint. I'm going to add a second constraint, and this second constraint will have this formula where I am testing to see whether in the Q highest EDU question the user has answered that he has a master's or a PhD. In both cases, I want to show the Q years master's question and save my constraint. I'm going to add a third constraint in which I'm going to test whether in the Q highest EDU question the user has answered either that he has either a university degree, a master's, or a PhD. In all 3 cases, I want to enable the Q years school question, and I'm going to save my constraint. So now I have my 3 constraints, and I'm going to test whether these constraints are correct by previewing my survey. If I go to the Your Education section, I will see that questions 9, 10, and 11 are disabled. If I say some schooling, nothing happens. If I say university degree, question 9 is enabled. If I say master's degree, question 9 and 10 are enabled. If I say a PhD, question 9, 10, and 11 are enabled. If I go back to the university degree, only question 9 is enabled. And this concludes the video where we demonstrate the conditional constraints that can be added to a survey so that users are only asked the questions that are relevant depending on the content of other questions.